Hi folks, this is Courtney with WordPress training videos, and here I am on my WordPress website, and today what I'm going to do is show you guys how to install WordPress, again a local version of WordPress on your PC, laptop, your desktop machine, so that you can practice with it and learn how to use it. I did a video a couple years ago on how to do this, and since things have changed and I continually get some questions that people having problems um, with the install, I decided to do an updated version of the training. Um, this is the original video that I did a couple years ago on doing this. And so today what we're going to do is walk you through how to do it with the new version of WordPress and the new version of WAMP server. Now, of course, what you're going to need for this is WordPress. So you're going to go out to wordpress.org and you're going to download a copy of the software here. So go over here, just click on that, make sure you download the zipped file here to your desktop. Okay, you're also going to need a server and a database. We're going to use WAMP server. So go out to wampserver.com and it'll put you over here to where you can get the latest version. Now let's go down here, let me show you, because this is where some people have been getting confused on some things. Go ahead, I would recommend you get the 32-bit version here, 2.4. If you have a 64-bit machine, which a lot of machines nowadays are, you can get this one, but this training is going to be based around this version here, and it should work regardless of whether you have a 64-bit system or not. Okay, don't worry about all these others. So when you click on that, you're going to get a warning here. Make sure that you do have this installed, this service pack here that they're showing you, because if you do not have this installed, you may get a MSVCR error message as you go through the install. You probably already have it, but just to be on the safe side, you might want to download it and install it, but this is just a heads up. You're going to click here where it says you can download it directly, and when you click there, it's going to shoot you over here to Forge, and then your download is going to go ahead and begin in a few seconds. So go ahead and make sure you're going to have version 2.4, the x86, which is 32-bit version, and save the file to your desktop. Now once you get these two files, you're going to have them right here on your desktop. Okay, we have the zipped folder here with WordPress, and then we have the executable WAMP server here. Let's go ahead, and yours may look different, it may be yellow, but regardless of whatever color it is, you're gonna click on that and take the folder, and we're gonna drop the folder onto our desktop. Okay, I'm using WinRAR, so mine is multicolored. Yours is probably going to be a yellow zipped file. In either case, just go ahead and put that to your desktop, and you'll get this folder. So now we have, let me close this. Now we have the WordPress folder, which contains all of our files that we're going to need for our install, and we have our WAMP server. Let's go ahead and launch our WAMP server and go ahead and hit run. And what it's going to do now, we'll go to next, accept the agreement, go to next. It's going to give us a default folder C:\WAMP. That's what we want. Let's hit next. Let's go ahead and create a desktop icon and click on install. Whether you're using, I'm using the old, I don't say old Windows, but I'm using, XP. This should work for 7 to 8, whatever you're running. As long as it's compatible, you should be fine. There'll be some differences in this, but of course just go through that. So let's go ahead and let this install. What I'm going to do here is, I guess, pause this so we don't have to take up time. Okay, so now it's showing here that my Firefox has been detected. It may or may not ask you, depending on what you're using. I'm going to say yes, I want to use it as my default for my WAMP server, and just continue on with that. It should go ahead and finish up here in just a second. Now, you're going to be presented with a PHP mail parameters section here. I just leave this at localhost and just take out the email, because you don't really need that in there. Hit that, finish, and then we're going to launch our WAMP server now. So let's hit finish, and now our WAMP server should be in our taskbar. My taskbar is up at the top of my screen, which you can't see right now unless I move my, let me move this up for you. So let me move this up here so that I can show you. You can see up here my taskbar is on the top that we have WAMP servers, and see how it's green. If it's not green, then something's already gone wrong. If it's yellow or red, but if it's green, then we want to go ahead and click on it, and then we're going to go to my PHP my admin. Okay, so let's open that up so that we can go in here and create our database. It's going to present you with this information here. Let me pull this back down as this is loading. Okay, so it's going to present you with this login screen. Doesn't really tell you when you, that's the thing, one of the things I don't like about the new version. It doesn't really tell you this, but in order to log in you have to put in root here. Okay, leave password blank, and then let's click on this go, and this is going to actually get us into the area where we can create our database. So go over here to databases, and let's create a database, and let's just call it WordPress. Okay, go ahead and hit create, and it's going to show us here that our database has been created. Okay, all of our information here is checked green, so we know that we're good for the moment. Let's go ahead and reduce this screen. There's a lot of information in here, guys, and I'm not going to go through and explain everything about SQL and a lot of the settings and stuff. This is just to get you started so that you can load your WordPress up. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and reduce this screen. Okay, and as you can see over here, we have our WordPress folder still open. Go over to my computer, and then let's go to our C drive, and then we're going to see that we have a folder in here now that's been created that says WAMP. Remember, that was created when we got started. Let's go ahead and click on that, and this is where we have all of our folders and information for a server. And over here you'll see you have a www folder. This folder is the folder that emulates your public HTML folder in WordPress when you have a domain name, and because your server is basically up there on your domain name. For our desktop and local purposes, it gives us this www folder. So let's open that up, and as you can see, we already have an index file in here, which is a PHP file, and a test MySQL database file. What we're going to do, I'm going to pull this over and pull this down. What we're going to do now is we're going to take all of our files from WordPress, and we're going to put them over here into our www folder so that we can create this and do our install. So just go ahead and select all of these folders and files, and we're going to right click, drag it over, and then we're going to copy it right here into our www folder. There is a PHP file here, and there's also one here, so it's going to ask us, do we want to overwrite the PHP file? And so yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that as soon as it asks us that question here in a second. There it is. Say yes, we want to override. Doesn't really matter because we're going to be doing some editing. Now we're going to go in now, so we have to change our configuration file so that we can log in and actually load up WordPress. So you're going to have a file here. This is wp config sample, and this is a PHP file. We're going to want to open this up with a text editor. I use Notepad++ text editor because it's just an awesome editor. You can use a regular editor or whatever you have. You're going to go ahead and launch that so that we can get into this file here and edit it, because this contains all of our database information. All a database is just something that contains information that you pull from the database to do what you want to do. It's the short answer. So now, when you are in your file, and once you go and find this information here where it starts out with your MySQL settings, and under here we're going to go to our database right here, database name. Now we're going to change this here. Be careful when you're in here, guys, because this is where people are messing up, because you're either grabbing too much or not grabbing enough. First thing we're going to edit is our database name. So make sure you have just that information highlighted here. Okay? And what did we name it? We named it WordPress, right? So let's go in here and put in WordPress, because that's what we named it. Remember, under username, when we first logged in, remember what we used? Highlight the area. We used root, remember? Okay. MySQL database password. What was the password that we used? We didn't use one. Remember, it was blank, so we're just going to highlight that area. Again, being careful just to get the information that you need, and just going to delete that out because we know that we logged in using no password. Don't worry about the rest of this. We know, you see, localhost is there. We already know that's what we use to get in. Don't mess with anything else in here. Go to File, go to Save As. Make sure that you're saving this as a PHP file. Okay. Now it's not going to be our configuration file any longer. It's actually, the sample file. It's actually going to be our configuration file. So let's back this off and just name it wp-config, because this is now going to be our file. Make sure, depending on what editor you're using, make sure again you're on PHP. Okay, and we are, so we're going to save it. Okay, we can now go ahead and close this out. Okay, because we're not going to need that anymore. We're going to go back up to our browser now, and we're still in our database. So now let's go ahead and get our WordPress set up. So what I like to do, you can actually just, depending on how you like to do it, you can back this up or put it in however you want to do it. But we're going to go into our actual configuration file now. So it's going to be localhost, and make sure you get this part right, guys. It's going to be localhost wp-admin/install.php. You put that in, then we're going to be presented with our WordPress welcome page. Okay, here's where you can actually give your website a name. Let's call it our new website, right? Whatever. Username. Put your username in here. Now you can leave it as admin. If you don't put a name in here, you can't change it later. Since this is a test site and it's local, doesn't really matter, but let's just use our name, right? Password. Now's the time that you can give it a password. If you don't give it a password, it'll kick one out for you. Let's just go ahead and give it a password, for the sake of doing this. Okay, and then let's put in an email address. We'll put in those email address. Doesn't matter whether you have this checked or not, because you're not actually online. Again, this is all local. So put this information in here, and then let's do our install. And now it's going to actually go ahead and pull everything that we have locally on the machine and install our WordPress. Let me get rid of this right here. And as you get, and it's working, you can't see it, but it says connecting up here on the top. And then once it comes to this screen, you can see now that you're already logged in, you're already there. So it's giving me my username, and it's saying, you know, click here to log in. And remember, we gave it, I gave it, was that a capital 2, I think? I remember my password. And then hit login, and it should take us straight into our back end. So now we have a freshly installed, and it's telling me, you know, I can update my browser or whatever. And now we have a freshly installed, we're in the back end of our freshly installed site. Let's go and look at the site to see what we got. And as you can see, we have the basic WordPress site right here. And we can just, you know, now we can just get busy, start doing, you know, what we need to do here. That's it, guys. I hope this has helped, because there's been some confusion and a lot of questions because of the old old way, and now this is the new way with the new WAMP server and the latest version of WordPress. And of course, once you get this set up, if you want to then go through and learn all the stuff you need to know about doing more with WordPress, feel free to come visit the site and go through my free course. Basically, you kind of got a short tidbit of how I train. How I'll train you guys if you decide to go through here, and you can see all of the modules, over 12 hours of training that I give you through every aspect of not just WordPress, but this is from a marketing perspective as well. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope this has helped, and this is Courtney with WordPress training videos. Bye bye.